Hey everybody, this is Larry Janeski from Connecticut Basement Systems. One of the things that we do every day is foundation piering. And what it does is stabilizes the foundation. When a foundation is sinking, settling into the ground, and there's different reasons that could happen, a foundation will settle unevenly and one part of the building will settle while another doesn't. And that's exactly what happened here to this building. And we have a big crack here, and part of this foundation has rotated outward, and this will continue over the years and cause big structural problems in this building. Now in a home, you can have doors that stick, windows that won't open, cracks in drywall, flooring that is uneven and cracked, all kinds of problems when your foundation settles. And we're going to show you today how we can pier a foundation and how we can raise the foundation back up to its original position. The first part of the process is to excavate to the bottom of the footing. Now the footing is a slab of concrete that is twice the width of the wall and the same height as the wall is wide. So this is an 8-inch block. Code minimum would be 16 inches wide on that footing. Now the purpose of the footing is very much like the foot of your body. Is to spread out the weight, the load of the building onto a larger section of soil. And just as I suspected, this footing is not below frost line. Now in Connecticut, the frost line is 42 inches. That the footing should be down 42 inches from the surface of the ground. This footing is not. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig holes every 6 feet, and it varies on the building. Now, we calculate the weight of the building, the weight of the foundation, the weight of the frame of the building, the weight of the roofing, what we call the live load, all the contents inside the building, and the weight of the soil that is setting on top of that footing. And we do the math to find out how far apart we have to space these piers. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this pier bracket underneath that footing, and then we're going to drive our pier tubes through the middle to bearing soil. Now, as you can imagine, the excavation process is made more complicated when you have decks and sidewalks and landscaping and air conditioning units and so forth near the home. So sometimes we have to dig by hand, sometimes we can dig with a machine, sometimes a combination. But we've got to get underneath that foundation to support that foundation and take the weight of the building and put it on the piers in the end. Once the holes are dug for the pier brackets, then the footing is notched so that the pier bracket can get underneath the wall of the building instead of on the edge of the footing. Then we use a hydraulic drive cylinder to drive sections of pier tube down through the bracket until we get to 4,000 PSI. Then we move to the next pier. And basically what we're doing when we're driving the pier tubes is we're using the full weight of the building to push a single tube down into the ground. Then the pier tubes are cut and a cap is installed on top of the pier tube. And once all the tubes are driven down to load-bearing strata, now we have connected all the piers together with lift cylinders, and hydraulically we've got them daisy chained together. And what we're going to do is use the strength of all the piers together to lift the building. We're using a laser here and a piece of tape on the wall with a mark right through this line to benchmark where the building was before, and then we can see that line lift off that laser line as we lift the building, and we can tell how much we lifted it. So we have systematically raised this building 2 inches. We did it in 3 stages, and we still have some mortar joints open, but that's sometimes you get lucky and they close like nothing ever happened, and other times they're left open because a little debris could be inside the mortar joints, and now that's holding up the joint from going back totally. But we lifted this building 2 inches. So in the beginning, this line was down here where this laser line is. And as we lifted it up, the line went up, 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 up. And so this building is now stabilized. The weight of the building is on the piers instead of on the soil. And you can see that a gap has opened up between the soil and the bottom of the footing. So we know, we've lifted that building up, and the weight is now on the piers, and the piers are resting on solid rock, okay? And here in New England, oftentimes it's ledge and large boulders and so forth. So this building will be stabilized. It will never settle again. What we're going to do, we lock down these nuts, and then we're going to remove the lift cylinders, and we're going to backfill and clean up, and we'll be all set, and this building will be stabilized permanently. Backfilling and finishing the landscaping as appropriate is part of the job. It is December now, so really the finished landscaping will be done by the homeowner in the spring, but that's a small price to pay to save the foundation and ultimately save the building. If you have a foundation settlement issue, if you have cracks in your foundation, whether they're leaking or not, if you have a wall that is bowing in, or a concrete slab inside or outside of the house that is settling, call Connecticut Basement Systems and we can help you.